All right, and we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
And we're joined, we should have came up with a cool name for her. Alexandra Bayless is here to do this is a unique show. We're going to have live makeup performance here. I don't know what to call it, demonstration, performance, but it'll be a good time.
Yeah, the demo works.
And if you don't follow Alexandra on social media, she's been doing this all month, and they're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And not just because you're here. They're really awesome.
Yep.
So first of all, thanks for doing this, and thanks, Trista, for setting this up.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to have Ali as a friend, and now I'm a huge fan of her, so that's cool.
Thanks. Ditto, girl.
Very good. So first of all, I guess explain what you're going to be doing.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen a little movie called Scream before. It's one of my all-time
foreshadowing in the background.
It's one of my all-time favorite scary movies. I'm actually going to watch it on Halloween this year. I'm going to do Casey from Scream. I'm going to do a little neck slice, maybe some wounds on the face and the chest, and then we'll throw a wig on, and that'll be that.
I like
Very
it.
cool.
I figured it should be fun and not terribly complicated. So if anybody out there wants to replicate this, they probably could do it. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Halloween. I think we're going to see a professional doing this here, but Halloween's fun. You don't have to be really skilled to have fun and dress up as something.
Oh, totally. And now there's so much stuff online. Like if you don't know how to do something, Google it, look on YouTube. I do that all the time when I'm doing something. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Let me just look it up.
That's how I learned to tie the tie.
There you go. I still don't know how to tie a tie.
It's hard to tie a tie.
Yeah, it's a double Windsor knot.
Oh.
Oh, harumph for rump.
Right. It's not like I remembered it, though. So it's not that impressive. But yeah.
So what are you doing, Allie?
So I'm just cleaning my skin with some witch hazel out of my little bottle because I'm going to this is going to be my nice gash on my neck. This is called a prosade transfer. And this company, I think I have one of their boxes. They're called Got Flesh. This is what it looks like in the package. But they're awesome. They're super easy to apply. They basically are like like an old school tattoo, like temporary tattoo. You're gonna just peel this shiny paper off, stick it to the skin with a towel that's wet, and it's just gonna peel right off. It's very, very easy. Wow. And they're pretty affordable. I just used those on a shoot. I did a short up in Yosemite a couple weeks ago, and I used a bunch of those, which was really great because they're fast and easy. But yeah, you have to clean the skin off real good before you put any of those on, so it'll stick.
Why is that important?
So I have a little bit of makeup on my face already. It won't stick. The product doesn't want to stick unless it's on a clean surface.
Okay. So if you have
I've had makeup
skin or anything.
Oh yeah. I've had makeup artists have trouble getting those off of me. Is that something you have happened to?
So if you're using the right product, which I have right here, this stuff is called isopropyl myristate, or ISO for short. It's kind of an oily based remover. You kind of just have to put it on and let it sit for a while, kind of let the piece absorb the oil. And then it usually just kind of peels right off. Coconut oil also works really well. I've noticed it's a little bit gentler on the skin. And then just, a warm towel with soap and water. So if they're not using the right remover, Trista, that might be why they were having issues. Or they could have sealed it. So if you were doing like a long shoot day, like a 12 plus hour day, they may have sealed it with Final Seal or something, and that also makes it really hard to get off. But that's another reason why these are great, because they if you seal them, they'll last all day, you know.
I just saw a body walk behind Troy. I'm not sure what's going on. But...
I think it's a living body. I think we're safe.
All right.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a relief. So recently, Allie, I was sent home with one of those here, and she told me just keep using oil for a couple days, and it took a couple days, and I used vitamin E oil because that's just what I had around. But it actually took a couple days. I had like a mark for a couple days.
Oh my gosh. Well, shame on her for not getting it off of you, I will say.
I think because she's a friend of mine, maybe she felt comfortable being like, go home.
Yeah. I know. You know what? A lot of times I have actors, by the end of the day, they're like, just peel it off me, just rip it off me. I don't care. I just want to get out of the chair and go home and take a shower. And I'm like, I know you want to do that, but just let me take it off the right way. Because if I just pull it off, if I rip it off, your skin's gonna be red and irritated. You know, so as much as sometimes people hate it, I'm like, no, just sit in the chair and let me do it. You know, but
maybe they thought it would give you a little extra, Halloween decoration for a couple of days too.
There you go.
I thought it was cool. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
What was it? What were you shooting, Trista?
I did like a print thing recently. Okay. But the makeup artist is a friend of mine, and she used to actually be Marilyn Manson's personal hair and makeup artist. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
She has her own business now. I should connect you sometime.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
But we worked together several times, so I was wondering if it was just because we were friends that she was like, oh, just go home and like use oil on that every day.
Totally.
Adam Briggs here in the chat says, thanks for doing this. You're welcome. And thanks, Allie, for being here. Yeah. And Joe Niebla says, everyone looks wonderfully outrageous, and Trista looks adorable.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween.
Yeah. So how long is makeup something you've been interested in?
Oh, man. I guess since I was a kid, my dad is a makeup artist for film and TV. So I grew up around it, and Halloween was always the best at my house growing up. Like, if my dad was home from work, me and my brother always looked insane. So.
Were you always into horror movies?
Always. Yep. I can thank my dad for that. I think one of the first things I remember seeing as a child, I don't know if you guys are gonna know this movie, but it's a movie called The Boneyard that came out in 1991. My dad worked on it. It was shot back in North Carolina, where I'm from. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. It's pretty campy. Phyllis Diller is in it. There's a giant dog, a giant poodle in it.
I've not seen this, no.
Mark it on your list to watch.
I'm pretty sure I would remember that, yeah.
It's pretty good. But I remember watching that when I was way too young to be watching that, because my dad had worked on it, and it was all make-believe. But that kind of started the fascination. And then, of course, Night of the Living Dead. I watched that movie, and I was horrified and yet fascinated by how they did everything. And that was kind of how it all started.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed, Allie, because I've never stumped these guys. And I don't know if any of our guests have. Yeah.
I'd be interested in who else knows of the Boneyard, the 91 classic.
Oh, you had me at Phyllis Diller, though.
Oh,
right. Troy has a large Phyllis Diller collection, so I'm surprised he didn't.
Oh.
Right down to the cigarette holder and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next year's Halloween costume, Troy.
There we go, yeah.
Totally.
That worked.
I want to show Tristan my jacket really quick before I take it off to start my makeup. I met this guy on Instagram, and he makes these amazing jackets. His name is Adam, and I saw this one and I had to have it. And Trista, I feel like you need one too, because I want you to see what the back says.
What?
Oh, nice.
I do need to have this.
Yes. It says "Final Girl" on the back, and that's not the only thing he does. He does he does the ghost face. He does gremlins. Like his stuff is insane. But I think he did one of his jackets.
Yeah, connect me with him, Allie.
I will.
Yes.
Ashley Platts, I think that's how I found him. She was modeling one of these jackets, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have one. So,
I just saw Ash the other day, and she didn't even tell me about this jacket. You're a way better friend, really.
Well, I thought of you because you act in so many horror films, and you're so talented and amazing. And I was like, Trista needs a final.
Allie, this is why I had you on the show. Thank you.
I have noticed a trend in guests that Trista recommends.
Oh my gosh.
Am I that transparent?
Oh man.
But that is an awesome jacket and it looks great on you.
Yeah, the guy's name is Small Town Weirdo who makes them. Like, he's just insane. I think he's also an actor, but he started this as like a side business, and he's a fellow horror nerd, and I was like, that's dope. So
it is, yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's what real friends do, Ashley. No, I can't complain about her because she was putting me on tape. So.
Do you have any Halloween makeup from a kid that stand out to you? Any memories?
Oh gosh. Yeah. So one year I didn't have a costume, and my dad and I were trying to figure out something very quickly last minute to do, and he was like, well, why don't we make you roadkill? And I was like, roadkill? So he painted a giant like tire tread mark across my face.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Yeah.
Blood all over me, and leaves in my hair and stuff. And then we made took a t-shirt and drove over it with the car with paint on the wheel.
Wow. Wait, he really drove over it with the car?
Yeah, but I wasn't wearing it.
I'm glad you explained that to Trista. She was very
It just seems like as a makeup artist, in my mind, he would just dress the shirt, but I love the commitment.
Yeah. Well, and then one year I was a mummy, and he wrapped me head to toe in ripped sheets and made me dirty, like the OG mummy. And that was pretty fun. That was a big hit that year. So.
Wow, I want to see some of these photos, Allie.
Oh, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, please do.
I do have them. Several. I just basically, if you guys can see, I drew on the other side of the paper the shape of the piece, just so I can kind of see it, because it's going to go face down onto my skin.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I'm hoping this guy works. He's kind of old. These do have a little bit of a shelf life. That looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to take my damp cloth and just hit that water release paper. I need to make it a little more wet.
Now, is that something someone could buy easily?
Yeah, so here in Los Angeles, there are some amazing makeup stores in the Valley. I picked this one up at Nigel's Beauty Emporium on Magnolia. And yeah, anybody can go in there and buy it. Their FX department, the people that work in their FX department are really, really helpful. So if you don't know what you're doing, just ask for help. Friends is also really great too. I shop there a lot, FRENDS. Okay, let's see. So the paper has started to lift. I need to make that a little more wet. Did you guys dress up for Halloween every year as kids and go trick-or-treating?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And Troy did, because Troy and I are brothers.
Uh-huh.
You
So
can
who
see the
won the last
resemblance.
It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always dressed up for Halloween, for sure.
Would you be something scary, or would you be, what was your thing, Trista?
You know what? I just realized, ironically, since I'm a kitty cat today, I remember one year I wanted to be a cat, and my stepmom was very insistent that she make my costume. And then I wound up being like a very strange, like woodland creature. Like it just didn't turn out well. So I think I filed that away, and that's why I'm a kitty cat today, guys.
Well, I'm glad it finally worked out for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is an important moment in Trista history.
Yes, yes. I'm glad David let you use the chair as well.
Yeah, my cat David. You know what? He moved of his own volition. Otherwise, I might not be here right now, guys.
Then I would have been really impressed by the costume. I'm like, wow, you really did.
So what are you doing now, Allie?
So I'm just taking a little bit of 99% alcohol that I keep in this little spray bottle. And I'm on a Q-tip. I'm just kind of blending out the edges. So the alcohol basically melts the Pros-Aid. Pros-Aid is technically I believe it started out as like a medical adhesive. And then somebody in the makeup field got a hold of it and realized we could make all sorts of crazy stuff with it. But the alcohol just kind of melts away the product and gives you a nice blended edge. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's my skin color right now. So when we paint it, we'll put some blood in there and make it kind of pop.
How long does the makeup normally take? Or you guys depends on what you're doing?
It just depends. Like if I'm doing, let's see, what did I do that took a really long time this year? I did the Hag from Snow White, which was a big foam prosthetic piece that I got from Wuchi. And that one took a while. It was a lot of painting and a lot of gluing. And then I want to say I was in the chair for a few hours doing that one.
Oh.
But I did They Live a few days ago.
That one looks so great too.
Thank you. That one was really fun, and that one was pretty straightforward because it was just paint. It was just paint on my face, and then I took a ping pong ball and cut it in half and made the 2 eyeballs, which was really cool. So yeah, it really just depends on kind of what I'm doing, and if I've done it before and it's a repeat, it usually goes quicker, or if I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh yeah, there it is.
That's my favorite one, I think.
That one was fun. I put on a bunch of different wigs, and yeah, that one was great.
Perfect wig.
I'm gonna be sad when it's not Halloween and you're not doing these all the time anymore.
I know. I think I'm gonna start doing a couple a month if I have time, because things are spiking back
Every
up.
day might be a bit much, but yeah.
Every day is a bit much, yeah. I think I'm gonna do another one, like a stab one, because Casey gets like stabbed here, so maybe we'll do a nice stab right here. That one's kind of fun.
I'm just gonna share the witch real quick too.
And it's a cold rag that you put on, Allie?
If I'm gonna put it on an actor, I'll usually use kind of warm water, just so it's not uncomfortable. But it's just me, so I'm just using my spritz bottle and spritzing it down. Okay, there, that looks cool. So I'm just gonna put all the transfers down first, and then paint them all, I think.
I met Allie because we did a play together, and I would slap her across the face every night in the show.
She sure did. That was fun.
That's how she got the name Treacherous. A very violent woman here.
There you go. That was so long ago, Trista. Oh my gosh.
I know. Actually, it wasn't. Ash was saying she thought it was like 10 years ago. It was 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
I know. We just had this conversation. Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
Wow.
That's because you guys are young. When you reach my age, whatever you think it was, if you think it was 5 years, it was really 10. So right now you're still on the other side.
And 2020 has been super long, so.
I think that's a big part of his 2020.
So Trista, how has auditioning been and like work been for you with COVID and everything?
Okay, yeah, thanks for asking. I was I think I told you I went to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was supposed to go to North Carolina next month, but that's been pushed again because of, things. Yeah, but it's okay. I told you I just saw Ash because she put me on tape for something. So that was fun. She was very patient because I hadn't auditioned for anything in a long time. A lot of my work was offers, which is nice. But it's also nice to audition because you get to act.
Yeah, totally.
So.
You get to play.
Yeah, and Ash is such a good director as well that I love when she puts me on tape because she thinks of things that I don't always think of. It's very collaborative. Some people pay to get put on tape, and I'm not sure I would feel comfortable. For me, I love doing it with a good friend. So Ash was also in this play that we did, that we met. And so was Jess, her roommate she was talking about. It's funny, we all kind of kept in touch from this play that we did.
You slapped him around.
Yeah, I did slap Ash too, or Jess too. I mean, I did.
Yeah, they were afraid not to keep in touch.
There you go.
So what's happening now, Allie? What are you doing? Same thing.
Same thing. Yep. I just figured we could do like a little cut on her face. It's not we don't really see specifically in the movie what we know that she gets stabbed in the chest, and then obviously they hang her up from the tree. But I was like, we can take a few liberties. Maybe she got cut on the face when she was struggling. She does kind of have a little bit of a bloody nose. I do remember seeing that, so we can add that, which is pretty easy.
When you're doing these, do you have a lot of pictures around of the subject? Or?
Yeah, so if I'm copying something, I'll usually have it on my computer, my laptop right beside me, to just kind of reference, which is really helpful. And then when I shoot the pictures, a lot of times I'll look at stuff on my phone to just try to kind of like emulate the character and their expression and that sort of thing.
It's interesting because I do feel like part of the reason your work is so good, it's amazing technically, but also your acting really informs your characters. It really shines through, and it's fascinating for me to see. Yeah.
I think that's why I enjoy doing this so much, is because in a way I still get to kind of act.
Well, I thought that came through too, that you enjoy doing it, which I was happy to see. And then I was like, oh, well, and it wasn't like all like iconic characters. There's a lot of ones, more obscure. So I was like, oh, it's somebody who actually enjoys these movies.
Yeah, I try to mix it up, and this year I tried to throw in a few beauty makeups too, just because, well, number one, my poor skin. By the end of this, I'm like, oh, I need to get a facial. But yeah, it gets to be a lot just doing over the top stuff every day. So you need a few easy ones in there, just some beauty makeups, and those are challenging too. When I first started doing all this, I felt way more comfortable doing the like gross, nasty, gnarly special effects stuff. The beauty makeup kind of came after for me. So it's good to keep that in my repertoire.
Well, I guess some of that would be like people know what they're supposed to look like if they're supposed to look nice, but they're not. Hopefully, they don't know what they look like if they're all mangled up.
This is true.
Have you ever had any sort of allergic reactions, or anyone that you've worked on?
Not yet. That's one of the first things that I ask talent when they sit in my chair, is if they have any skin allergies, because latex is a pretty common skin allergy. So if someone was to tell me that, I would immediately not do anything that has latex in it on them. And a lot of times if people don't know and they're unsure, you know, we can test on their skin. Usually like the inside of your wrist right here is a good place to just do like a little test patch and make sure they don't have a reaction if I'm using like a harsh chemical or something. But I've been very lucky. I haven't had anybody break out or, you know, have a rash or anything like that. But it is always good to ask beforehand.
Just today, a friend of mine who's also a makeup artist and an actor, I saw online that she wrote that she had done Joe Biden's makeup, and when he sat down, she asked him if he had any allergies, and he said just Republicans. It's cute.
Really? Oh my God, that's funny. That's good. That's funny.
So when did you start doing the 31 days of a Halloween makeup? Was that last year?
No, I think it was. So I did it last year. I didn't do it the year before. I took a year off. I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago. I feel like that sounds right. I initially started doing it because there was a lot of stuff that I just didn't know how to do. And I was like, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm just going to teach myself how to do it. And I had seen some other people on Instagram that did it, and I was always blown away and like, you know, admired them and was like, this would just be so cool if I could figure out how to do this. So the first year was, I mean, I still learn things every year. It's practice for me. And I like to try new products that I've never used before. It's always good to test it out on yourself before you do it on a client, you know. But yeah, I think this is like my 3rd or 4th year doing this. I think.
Were there any specific ones this year that you did out of curiosity of, you know, how am I going to pull this off?
Yeah, the Wolfman. So I have always wanted to do the Wolfman from the first year that I started doing this. And it's hard. It's a lot of hair, what's called laying hair. And I'm not very good at that. So my friend Ashley Stansberry came over actually and helped me lay the hair. It's really hard doing it on yourself too. But that one for some reason had always scared me because it was a lot of prosthetics and a lot of hair.
I love this one.
That one was really fun. I ended up really liking how it turned out.
Yeah. And like Trista said earlier, you're adding a lot to the character and your movements, and there's a video of you howling.
I like to have fun with it. I'm like, why not, you know? Why not?
Allie and I both shot independently Westerns at the same location this past year.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Wait, and I came off one day with yours. Do you remember that?
Wait, oh yeah, oh my gosh. And she was makeup artist on the one that I did too. But she also shot a short film, a Western at the same location, which was funny. That was funny. I forgot about that. So how is Born Still? I'd love to see it.
Oh, it's good. It's doing festivals right now. We kind of got screwed because of COVID. You know, we finished the film and had spent all this money on submissions, and then COVID happened and they canceled all of these festivals. And some they did online, but honestly, and I'm sure Trista, you understand this, it's just not the same, like doing stuff online and versus actually getting to go and be there and network and talk to people, and you know, it's just not quite the same. But
and just seeing reactions and stuff, I guess, would be different.
Yeah, totally. What's going on with that film that you shot at the Western, at the
one that you worked on?
Yeah.
It'll be finished this weekend or this week apparently.
Whoa, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure if they're doing virtual fests or they have this distribution, so I don't know if it'll go right to streaming or if they're gonna bother with fests. I'm just not sure.
Gotcha.
But it was so fun to have you there.
Yeah, girl. That was great.
So what are you doing now?
So this is one last little transfer, just kind of like a little slit on her lip, maybe the knife cutter, maybe she got punched and it split her lip. I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got a nice little slice there.
Oh, I don't like seeing you banged up, Allie.
Well, I think things are going to get a lot worse. So.
Oh yeah.
To get
Add all the
prepared.
We're just getting started. So now I'm gonna add a little color to this. I love using these Skin Illustrator palettes. This one's the zombie palette.
Oh, that's cool.
You can get these at Nigel's and Friends as well. And again, this is another makeup that is activated by alcohol, 99% alcohol. So I'm just gonna spritz it. My palette is kind of dirty, but.
And are those, oh, those are really cool. Did you get them online or in store? Are they available?
You could buy them online. You could buy them directly from PPI, which is the company that makes the Skin Illustrator palettes. Or you could get them at Nigel's or Friends online. Yeah. But these are great. Again, like this is another type of makeup that will last all stinking day. So I'm just gonna kind of come in. I'm gonna add a little more alcohol. I'm just spraying it directly onto the palette. And then I'm using a sponge that this is what the sponge normally looks like. It's a little wedgy guy. And then I just pull part of the end off. So it kind of has this, like, I don't know what to call it. Bumpy, yeah, structure. So it doesn't give you like any like harsh edges or anything. You kind of just want to stipple this on. And a lot of times I go kind of heavy in the beginning and then I'll pull back with just a little bit of alcohol on the sponge, but this just kind of gives it a nice color.
Yeah, you can start to see it pop already.
Yeah, so this just like kind of makes it look irritated, inflamed, and this color is called Aged Blood. It's one of my favorites. And maybe I'll add a little blood tone in there. A little bit of a different color.
We're going to see what Allie looked like after Trista slapped her around.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
This is the reenactment now.
Oh, my God.
And we've been friends ever since.
Joe wants to know.
Oh, no, go on.
He just want to know what is Allie's most challenging job to problem solve so far? What has been?
Oh, like on set, like on a shoot?
I would think so, yeah.
Let's see. Whew. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific that's happened. A lot of times I'll get there and they'll change something last minute on me and be like, oh, by the way, can you do a busted eye or a, you know, I don't know, a broken bone or whatever. And then you just kind of have to like figure it out on the fly. So I've learned the hard way to just bring everything. If I'm doing special effects and beauty makeup, I just bring everything.
Be prepared.
Yeah, just in case. And the same thing, like I have a little set bag that I'll bring with me when I go to set, when I leave the trailer or my station or whatever, and I'll have like a little effects kit that has a little bit of blood, you know, like a little tiny thing of blood, a little palette. I have an Illustrator set palette, one little guy. And just kind of have that in the bag just in case, because you never know when the director's going to be like, oh, maybe he gets punched in the nose in this scene and he has a bloody nose. And you're like, okay, well, I got it right here. So we don't even have to go back to the trailer. We can just do it right now.
And who asked that question, Neal?
Joe Nibala.
That's a good question.
Totally.
Because even as an actor on set, I feel like I always bring all kinds of stuff because they're gonna change my wardrobe last minute, you know, like they might suddenly. Even as an actor, you have to be always thinking on the fly. That's one thing about shooting is they're constantly changing everything.
Totally. You never know.
You also do some acting.
Yeah, so I pretty much put acting on the back burner. I think officially it was about a year ago. I came to LA 10 years ago to pursue acting, and I still love it. I actually got to do a really cool quarantine horror short that was on Zoom, kind of similar to Host. I don't know if you guys saw Host on Shudder, which was excellent. I actually know the girl who was in it, Haley Bishop. She's friends with Jess. She used to live in this apartment.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't met her, but I know of her. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I came here to act, and I had a little bit of success. I had some guest stars and some co-stars, and did some theater. Obviously, that's how I met Trista. But I'd always really just enjoyed the aspect of acting that was the physicalization of the character. Like, does this character have tattoos? If they do, like, why? What's the backstory? How does this person wear their hair? How do they do their makeup? I just was really fascinated by that. And I still, like, that's still one of my favorite things when I get a script, is to break it down and to like figure out why the character has made these choices to look the way they look. But I'm trying to remember like what the pivotal moment was. I think I had just started getting more hair and makeup jobs than acting jobs and auditions. And I was like, I think it just got to a point where I kind of had to choose which one. And I'm really happy with my choice. I still love acting. If people want to ask me to be in stuff, I'll totally go for it. I love it. But I'm happy doing this right now. I love being on set and getting to be creative and still in the industry. It's pretty awesome.
I remember when you told me that, and I actually do remember the moment that you had described when you told me that you were going to focus more on this. And I remember you were so happy about it. That's one thing I remember. And as soon as you did, like, I remember like you put so much into this work, like instead of the split focus, you like had one focus almost. And that's when I started being really blown away by this work. And it's still infused with acting, of course, like we mentioned.
Totally. Yeah, totally. So now I'm just
How many scars you have here so far? I think 4.
Yeah, we got 4 pieces going.
All right.
So I think I'm just going to come in with a little bit darker of a color. This one has a little bit of black and purple in it. I'm just going to kind of go right in the cut here.
Well, it looks like it hurts.
And I may pull some of this color back a little bit, but we'll see. It's just, you just kind of have to play with it until you feel like it looks right.
How often do you work with your dad, Allie?
Oh, the first time that I got to work with him was last December. It was so cool. There was this movie that hasn't come out yet. It's called The Eyes of Tammy Faye, starring Jessica Chastain. They were shooting in North Carolina, which is where I'm from and where my parents live. And my dad is friends with the key. Her name is Ashley Chavez. And we both got to get hired. We just were doing background makeup. But we both got to work on it together. And I literally got to work like side by side with my dad. It was so cool. It was so awesome. But yeah, my dad has been working in the industry for many, many years, and he has an Emmy. He's very legit. And he's the one that I learned all this crazy stuff from.
He must be so proud, Allie.
I think he is, yeah. He digs it. I'm always calling him and FaceTiming him and being like, Dad, I don't know how to do this. Help me. Which I think he loves. So I'm really grateful that I have someone like that I can call and ask for help. I'm very lucky.
So you said you were watching horror movies with him. So was that because he was working on them, or he's also a horror movie fan?
He's a huge horror movie fan. I remember him telling me that he, as a child, loved the Universal horror movies, the monster movies.
Wise man.
Yeah, and I feel like he told me that he would stay up late and his mom would let him watch them with her, and so it was like a bonding thing with them. And yeah, he's just always been fascinated by how they do it. So he had a love for it ever since he was a kid. He did go to school to study theater, which I did as well. So he has a background in theater. And then my mom runs a super successful children's theater back in North Carolina called the Matthews Playhouse. So I've just been kind of around creative, artistic people my whole life. It's been really rad.
So there's a cool art scene in North Carolina then.
Yeah, there's a big music scene in Asheville, which is not too far from where I grew up. I grew up in Charlotte, and now they've been filming a lot more there. Like my dad got to work on Dawson's Creek, which filmed in Wilmington for many, many seasons. He worked on Homeland, which they shot in North Carolina. I think the new Scream movie is actually shooting right now in Wilmington, North Carolina. What is it? Scream
5, I think.
5.
I think it's 5, yeah.
I just watched 4 last night, which was really fun with Emma Roberts. That was a good one. I love the Scream movies.
We could tell he's watching along in the background.
Oh yeah. I went and got I had to go get this prop yesterday.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know. One of my girlfriends I reached out online, and she was lucky enough to find someone to let me borrow that for the shoot. So they don't make those anymore.
Your boyfriend will have to wear the mask to go along.
That's the plan, unless Jess gets here. The roommate do it.
So how many different layers of paint will go into the scars?
It just depends. So I'm kind of digging this color on the inside. I may pull back, like I said, with just a clean sponge and just a little bit of alcohol and take some of this away. But it's looking pretty good.
That is.
And then we'll just kind of cover everything with blood, which is always fun.
On the paints, you usually work like dark to light, or
it just I don't know that I have a specific way. I think I usually like to start the broader bits first,
okay,
and then go in and do the detail. Let me add a little more purple, just a hint. And sometimes it just depends on your lighting too. Like that's why doing tests is really great if you're on a shoot that can afford to do test days. Because depending on what the lighting looks like, you may need to go more purple or more orange or more red.
These are things I never think of.
Totally. And the same thing with blood. Like I have a couple different bottles here. This is like a standard red color, and this is like a dark red. They also make like a bright orange.
Wow.
And it just depends on how it's going to look on camera, or what the lighting's going to look like, what's going to pop the best.
Joe wants to know, has Ali, without naming names, ever worked with an actor who refused to allow an effects makeup because they thought it would make them look unattractive?
Yes.
Wow.
I have. It was on my, I'll try to be kind of, obscure with what I give away. It was on the first project that I ever department headed. It was a feature film, and I was already so dang nervous because I'd never department headed anything, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of figuring it out as I went. But there was a character that was supposed to have had work done, like plastic surgery, like a facelift kind of thing. And so I had gone and gotten these lifts that it's basically very simple. It's like a little piece of tape goes here, a little piece of tape goes here, and a string goes around the back of your head. It just kind of lifts everything. We had one for the neck too, you know, and we didn't, of course, have the luxury of having a test day because it was a lower budgeted project, an indie film. And we got her in the trailer and she wouldn't do it. She didn't like the idea of, I don't know. I mean, it was in the script, you know. So we ended up working with wardrobe and we kind of came up with an alternative that she just had a boob job instead. And they did something with wardrobe that made her look, you know, voluptuous. And that was that. And it was hard. I mean, I was upset, but I talked to my dad about it. My dad was like, you know, sometimes that just happens. And you just kind of got to roll with it. That's why test days are so important. if you can afford them. So it's weird because to me, while you were describing that, I was thinking like, oh, I want to play a character like that. That's interesting. I want to wear an appliance like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that was so funny because me and my key, we were so excited. Like we tried it out on ourselves. We practiced. We tried it out on each other. We were so excited to get to do this, and she just was not happy. So we called the director, and then we tried to get the director to talk to her. The director was like, it's in the script. What do you mean you didn't know? You know, so you just have to be careful, and you have to be polite, and you have to be kind and smile and not let it get to you. Yeah. So I'm going to put some chunky blood in this guy because we've got like a nice little, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a nice little hole in there, maybe a little bit in here and here. This is called Nye Fresh Scab. It comes in like a jar like this and it looks chunky. You can see that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We'll just do a little bit of that in there.
Like strawberry jam.
Yes, exactly. Which is we probably could use that if you wanted. A little bit in there, just gives it a little bit of dimension. And what are these brushes that you're using, Allie? Or is it a brush or no? It's a different applicator. So this is just a little spatula. It's metal, and it's got like a flat end and then kind of a pointier end. If you put a brush in this stuff, it's really hard to clean. You could, you know, I have two sets. I have like my FX brushes. Let's see if I have one. Like these are kind of my FXy brushes. I would never use a really nice brush with blood or any of this kind of gunky stuff because it would just ruin the brush. But this guy wipes off pretty easy with some alcohol. I'm gonna put a little bit in here. Yeah, that's looking gross. Are you guys doing anything fun for Halloween? What's everybody doing this year?
This will be the first year. I usually go to a 12-hour horror movie marathon in Brookline, but this will be the first year I'm not going. They're still doing it, but they're doing it outside, and I don't think sitting outdoors in New England for 12 hours at night sounds like a great time.
No.
So I don't have any plans.
I'm just going to stay home and stay safe too. What about you guys?
Maybe we'll do something for Without Your Head.
You guys could do like a viewing party or something. I don't know, watch a movie and talk about it, or I don't know, or do trivia.
That'd be fun. We do a short film festival. We did that last week. I did it, the week before Halloween.
Cool.
But we could do something. We'll think of something. At least we'll play something. Lisa, that'd be fun.
I know this year it's such a bummer.
Yeah. Troy, did you have anything planned for Halloween?
No, I'm gonna see if any kids come around. I mean, I'll wait.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had trick-or-treaters in like 5 or 10 years here, so even before this.
This is the year that not really much going down. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to get too forward to seeing the nephews come by and stuff, but
I don't want to get dark. But years ago, Troy knows, I bled out at home, and the ambulance came and took me. I won't go to the whole story, but the long story is they had to cut me out of my clothes once I got to the hospital, and it looked very much like, I always said it looked like strawberry jam, and so
Yeah, that's what
chunky
you
blood
did
is
say.
very accurate.
You're giving Neal PTSD, Allie.
Well, he could be like the fact check guy, you know.
Right. And the blood does squirt out, just like the movie. It goes squirting out. It's not a good time, though. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, we're glad you're okay, Neal.
Thank you. I am too. We're all in agreement.
It's hard to segue after that, but Allie, it looks great.
I know. I should have known that. How far out did you know, like, or is it just something you kind of go by ears? Like, how far out to do the makeup around the the wounds?
How much time?
Like, how far out? Like,
like the irritation, the redness. It just depends. Like, I mean, I usually like half an inch is what I kind of do, and then I kind of like taper it off into the rest of the skin. It's just kind of, I guess it's just kind of like to your taste, Mm-hmm. Like if you logically think about like how much skin would be irritated around something, and not to be gross, but I do look at reference pictures.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, there's a Facebook group it's all makeup artists. It sounds weird. I know.
Bunch of psychos getting together.
No, totally. But you kind of have to know if you want it to look realistic. Sometimes this is something that is so frustrating to me. This has happened to me before, where you do something where it looks great and it looks so realistic for camera, and then the director comes over and is like, no, more. I want it more red. I want it bigger. And you're just like, oh, it crushes my soul to have to do that.
It just takes all the realism out of it.
Yes, and like they think it looks great because it's like over the top, but you're like, oh man, on camera it's just gonna read so bad.
It's kind of like direction as an actor too, huh? Similar. Yeah.
Yes. So it's just one of those things where you can, politely argue if you want. You kind of got to choose your battles. So
it's interesting because Joe Castro, a friend of mine, he always brings up that sometimes people he works with on independent film, they don't know how things he'll make will show up on camera. So even if he'll make it where he likes it, they won't film it correctly.
That can happen. Yep. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of blood here. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Get this little mirror. I'm gonna try to drip a little if I can. Get a little more on my, oh, that's gonna drip right there. That's okay. Let's see, get a little more.
And you usually have a cape when you're doing it on other people, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't get on their wardrobe. This is my favorite blood, is the Fleet Street blood.
Oh, I like the name.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get this to drip the way I want it to. Go.
What's the difference is doing makeup on somebody and doing makeup on yourself?
I guess it's easier on someone else because I can see everything. Like I do a lot of bald caps on myself and I can't see the back of my head or like the back of my neck. But when we take pictures, you're not really going to see that anyways. So in that regard, it's a bit easier to do it on someone else because I can see everything that I need to. But I do like doing makeup on myself because, especially if I'm like trying to figure out how to do something, because I can just sit here for hours and play, Whereas if I have an actor, I can't torture them
right,
like in the same. So just add a little.
Do you have a favorite character that you've done?
Ooh. I really enjoyed doing the Pennywise makeup. That
That
one
was amazing.
Yeah, I love that one too.
That was Troy and I's mom's favorite. Was you?
Yeah.
'Cause she's a big fan of Pennywise, and she thought you did a great job.
Ah, thank you. I'm gonna throw this sweater on. This is my Casey sweater. And if I drip blood on it, that'll be perfect.
Oh wow, you got the Casey sweater.
We should have done this before. There we go.
Can that never mess something up? Putting clothes on after you have the makeup on.
Yeah, that's something definitely to discuss with wardrobe if you're doing any sort of like heavy prosthetics or anything crazy. I always ask wardrobe, I'm like, are they wearing a button-up shirt? Do we have something that they can just throw on that can get messy? How big is the neck? Because you never know.
I know when I get effects makeup on and a lot of blood, I'm always relieved when they have a wig for me rather than having to like wash it out of my hair.
Yeah, it gets goopy. Add a little.
What are some of the hardest things to remove?
The foam stuff is kind of tricky. That is going great. Let's just wipe that a little bit on the sweater. Those are sometimes hard to get off, especially if you've put down a lot of glue, a lot of Pros-Aid, if you're shooting for like a long time. And foam, people tend to sweat. It's not the easiest of things to wear for a long day. You perspire under there. Those probably take the longest to get out of. But it kind of just depends. The transfers, I think, come off pretty easy if you have the right stuff. It's looking nice and bloody.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I didn't realize, that like the transfers would look that good. They look so great on.
Yeah, and the edges are usually really, really easy to melt. My dad's calling me right now. I don't know why.
That's a question.
That's okay. Thought maybe he'd be watching. Maybe he is watching. Maybe he's watching on something.
Oh, you can answer. Maybe he needs help finding it.
That's okay. Let's see. See if he texts
Get some feedback for the show.
Yeah, we can ask him questions.
Ears are burning. Let's see. So funny. Well, now I'm curious to know what everybody else's horror movies were that kind of got them hooked.
Well, I think Child's Play was the first movie in general that I've ever seen. And I'm a big fan of Child's Play.
He's calling me again. Let me just see.
All right.
Hi, Dad. You're on the podcast.
Yes, fix that with a little bit of water.
I love it. He's calling in with the device.
Hit the blood?
Yeah, get the blood with a bit of Evian.
Oh, okay. I gotta go get Evian. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. That's very specific too, Evian.
I know.
I'm curious now why Evian water.
It's so cute.
It is. I'm glad he's watching and
Yeah.
he's got advice here.
I know. That's awesome.
Thank you guys. I love the podcast.
He's let my
Thank
dad.
you.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Dad. He thinks you're a hoot.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Dad, I'll call you after.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Love you too.
He's so cute.
Uh-huh.
That was awesome.
So why specifically Evian water?
Oh, there we go. Now it's dripping.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it helps it.
Ooh.
Oh, whoa. He knew.
Yep,
what
Dad's on
talking
top
about.
of things. Yep.
Wow.
Here we go. Now we're dripping. Let's hit this one again.
Wow. All right, that's amazing.
There we go. All right. So now I feel like I have a little too much color on my face. Why don't we I'll add a little bit of lighter foundation, and then maybe we'll do some hollowing out under the eyes, which might look kind of cool. This is definitely post-mortem Casey. Let's see. Just add a little bit of.
This is an original idea. I haven't seen anyone else do this.
That's a good point.
You know, I've seen a lot of people do, like, so I went to Cinespia. They do these awesome movies in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And I got to go see Scream last year in the cemetery. And people dressed up, and there were quite a few Caseys that were there that, you know, people had the wig on, and then they had, you know, maybe some blood on their sweater. But I don't really recall seeing anybody quite as bloody, you know.
So what are you putting on your face now?
This is just a little bit of a lighter color of foundation, just to kind of make me look a little paler. Just kind of filling it in a few places. Maybe her lips are a little, you know, washed out.
And any sort of specific kind of brush, or it doesn't really matter?
This is just a Senna like foundation brush, or you could use a sponge if you want. I kind of, since it's my own skin, I kind of just go in with my fingers and the brush. If I was doing this on a client, I would not use my fingers just because, you know, of hygienic reasons and COVID, and we have to be very, very careful now with what we touch and how we handle things. We're in like a whole different world now with cleanliness and hygiene in that regards. How, Trista, you've kind of been working a little bit, you said, since COVID has happened. How has that been, like, set wise? Has everybody been pretty good about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been, like I said, some things have been postponed and postponed and postponed. But if it's like a smaller production and they think they can safely do it, I've been able to work, but a good chunk of my work we've not been able to do as well. A lot depends on like where we're shooting, how many people are involved, you know. Yeah.
Right.
But I would imagine, yeah, you have a lot of extra responsibilities as a makeup artist, huh?
Totally.
So what's this that you're doing now?
So I'm just taking a little bit from my contour palette. This is my little contour palette. I'm just kind of going with a little bit of light contour, just a little bit under my eyes, just to kind of make them look a little hollower. Just kind of right in here. Let me add a little red rim around my eyes too. Why not? You know, we could even kind of come in with, I like using this kind of like angled floofy brush, maybe just a little right here. So I'm just looking a bit more washed out now. Maybe hit my temple here. Hit this side if I can a little bit. Let's see.
Are there specific lights that you like to use?
Yeah, so I'm using 2 lights right now. I do have, oh my gosh, and I just forgot the name of it. The light that I use, I think it's just called the makeup light. I use that on set. Like it's great. Actually, let me grab it. I'll just show you. It's about the size of an iPad. Yeah, it's just called the makeup light, and it has a little tripod. I just leave the tripod in my car. But this is the panel.
Oh, nice.
and it's great. And it's got its own like little, it looks like an iPad case, and I can, you know, slide that into my backpack or, you know, into my set bag and bring that with me. But this thing is awesome. I treated myself with this for my birthday over the summer. But right now I've just got like an umbrella light and then another similar light, on one on either side. And then I've got the window open over here to get a little bit of natural light, which is always the best. But yeah, if you don't have good lighting set up, it's really hard to see what you're doing, and it's really hard to get the colors right. And honestly, like, you can get a good light, you know, Trista, for self-tapes, you can get a good light on Amazon for not a terrible amount of money.
Like a ring light, yeah.
Yeah, those are great. But yeah, having the good light is very, very important. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Looking a little bit deader. We'll do a little bit of a red pencil just around rims of my eyes for fun. This is a good trick if you have somebody that's supposed to look really tired or hungover. If you just do, trade mirrors here. You just do like a little rim around their eye. How am I gonna do this so you can see?
Oh yeah, or high, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or stoned. Totally.
Yeah.
Just come right in there. But this one has like a hint of purple in it, which I like. Kind of nice.
It always feels good to me when makeup artists do that waterline. It feels like I don't know, I like the feeling.
Really? I feel like
yeah, because it's like kind of tickly, or like there's an itch that you're itching.
Kind of makes me anxious just looking at it. I can't imagine it being an experience.
That's the usual response that I get. They're like, oh, don't touch me.
I think I'm used to it. Like, it just feels good. I like it.
Let's give her maybe a little bloody nose too. Why not?
By the way, Troy, Trista mentioned Child's Play. What was the horror movie that got you into horror films?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. It was probably one of the old, like, Universals that I'd see, like, on Creature Double Feature or something like, probably The Wolfman. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks good, Allie.
How about you, Neal?
Bloody nose.
Well, the first one I remember seeing is Night of the Living Dead at the drive-in, which I've talked about.
Oh, how cool at the drive.
Yeah. I was pretty young, too, 4 or 5, I think. And,
that is young.
So definitely that. Universal monster movies for sure. Psycho and Creep Show for something a little more modern.
Oh, Creep Show, yeah.
Love Creep Show.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of characters from Creep Show you could do.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That would be a lot of work. But
well, I'm hoping that when my dad gets out here in LA, we can start building our own stuff, making molds and sculpting, and next year we can just get really crazy.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
uh-oh.
And that's
Did
where
Guys, I've got to take off for a
figure out
little while.
Yeah. You froze up on us just for a second.
Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You've thawed since then.
I think you might have got a little blood on your teeth.
A little.
Oh, I like that, though. That's like a little attention to detail there.
I do have some mouth blood that we could play with. That's always fun.
It's just looking so dynamite.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I love this.
Blood there. Hit that with a little more Evian.
All right, guys, I've got to split for a little while.
Okay.
Troy, thank you.
Return.
I know Troy works nights, so it's a weird time for him. But thank you, Troy.
Yeah. But I'll be back.
All right.
Yes.
Mouth blood.
Mouth blood, I got it. It's coming. Okay, bye.
Bye.
So funny. So this is, I'm trying to read what the label says, but it's kind of worn off. My Blood HD Red. I think this is the one that tastes better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like this too. I was gonna say that it always tastes good to me.
Yeah, it's got like a little minty flavor. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this into a little plastic cuppy guy.
Trista likes getting her eyes written on and drinking drinking blood.
Just push a little bit of this around, and then I'll put the wig on because I'm feeling like this is in a pretty good place. I'll probably add a little more blood to the sweater. Yeah, a little bit of this stuff goes a long way. So yeah. Gorgeous. Maybe just let a little bit of it run out. Ugh. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it
that's
looks
awesome.
great.
Dad was correct. Yes.
Yeah, he's your assistant now.
Yes. He knows everything. So I'm gonna throw a wig cap on. We'll throw the wig on. I'm pretty happy with how this is.
Yeah, I love it.
And not too complicated. You know. See, I have a lot of hair right now. I haven't gotten a haircut since before quarantine, which is horrible. Trista, you have a lot of hair too.
Yeah, I have too much hair. Don't bring attention to my hair.
Oh, you know what I'm forgetting that would actually look really nice is a little blood spatter. Let's see if I can maybe make this work.
Allie, a lot of times if it's me and other people and we're all getting bloody, a lot of times once we've washed, I find in my experience, I'm still the only one that's pink. Like other people seem to be able to get it off and then I'm still like just pink.
Maybe a little coconut oil, or sometimes it does kind of stain the skin a little bit.
I use shaving cream, but I'm still pink all the time. But maybe I'll try coconut oil.
Try that. My dad's calling me again. I bet he knows the answer. What's the answer, Alexandra Bayless? Maybe a butt dial. Cuticle remover.
Yeah, so that's an odd solution to the blood. Yeah.
Or cuticle remover.
Yep.
There you go.
Like nail polish remover?
That's like straight up acetone. I don't know if I would put acetone on the skin. I think it's like an oily, let me look it up. Cuticle.
Oh, it's okay. I can Google it. You can keep doing what you're doing.
Oily, like an oily substance. Yeah, here he's calling me again. Yeah.
No, cuticle remover. It's kind of a creamy yellow liquid.
Creamy yellow liquid.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not acid.
A little bit on a cotton.
Oh.
That'll take Sharpie off. It'll take blood off. All of that.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's going to come in handy in my life.
I know you are always getting bloody. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. How nice to have a dad that
bye.
just knows everything. He's super dad Abby.
I'm really, really lucky that I can just call him whenever. I've called him from set before, freaking out about stuff too. Okay, let's see. I want to do a little spatter here. Let's try this. See how this looks. So Trista, did you like the new Child's Play movie? Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yeah. It's hard for me. I'm not into remakes that much. I really like the original. films. Yeah.
Remakes are hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's your favorite horror movie?
Oh my gosh. That is always such a hard question because there are so many. Well, I love Night of the Living Dead. I love Dawn of the Dead too.
Dawn of the Dead's my favorite zombie movie.
That's pretty good. Just a little bit of spatter. That's kind of fun. So I just took like a chip brush that I cut. It originally looked like that, and then I just chopped it. And I'm just kind of going in with my alcohol colors and just a little bit of spatter in there.
I find the way that you modify your tools to be very interesting.
Yeah, you just kind of have to make it work for you. I remember when I first started doing this, I kept asking my dad, I was like, well, what brush does what? Like, what brush is for your eyes? What brush, what am I supposed to use for this, for that, for this? And he's like, well, you just kind of figure it out. Like, everybody's different, you know? Anything kind of goes. Okay, so let's pop this wig on. Let's see how this looks. Not the best Casey wig.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Not bad.
Oh, it works.
No, I think it's perfect.
There she is. Let's see. Kind of lift the bangs a little bit. Yeah, we could even put a little blood in the wig if we wanted. You know, let's hit the mouth blood again. Hello.
Oh, that's great. The phone is great too.
Yeah, I feel like this is pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I think
she's
it looks
awesome.
great, Allie.
I may end up cutting this sweater a little bit. Maybe like it got sliced, so that wound a little more. I think her sweater was a bit more of a V-neck in the movie, but yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm digging this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great.
The neck looks really good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fabulous. All right. Now we got to go out. What can we do? Go shopping? Go get groceries?
Hit the town, yeah.
Oh my gosh. People always ask me that. They're like, do you ever go out in your makeup? I'm like, oh my God, no. I sometimes have to, we sometimes shoot at my apartment, but also at my boyfriend's place. And it's so, just even walking to my car looking like a crazy person is so hard.
You know how many nights I've driven home just like I'm too tired to get out of stuff if there's no prosthetics. Like,
oh yeah,
I'll hide if I see kids or something. Yeah. But besides that, I'm so used to going out looking horrifying.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I always get nervous that I'm going to get into like a car accident on the way there, especially if it was something like this, and then they'll think I'm like really hurt.
Yeah.
I know it's just makeup, I swear.
Adam says, "Yay for supportive and creative dads."
Took what? Like, oh, that's probably my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My brother lives out here too. He works in production. He's awesome.
Okay.
Oh wow.
He's a good guy. But yeah. Did anybody have any other questions about how to do stuff or products or anything?
Do you, Trista?
I guess I don't know, Allie. So I guess I have a question about how much like stuff do you just have at your house?
Too much. Yeah, you kind of you acquire things on different shoots, and you know it's always good to just have stuff on hand. I mean, that's part of one of the reasons why I'm so excited to move, is so that I do have the space for all this stuff. but my whole entire closet right now is just bookcases full of products and chemicals and, you know, things. Yeah, normally you'd have a trailer if you're working on something that's a bit more, you know, bigger budget project, and you can keep everything in the trailer, which is great. You don't have to like repack your kit every night and go home. But it's good to just kind of have a little bit of everything. It's expensive, but it's worth it because you just have it on hand and you don't have to be in a bind to find something last minute. So
how about stuff like the wigs and a sweater? You know,
so I
I know
have
it
way too
seems
many
kind of silly, but you know, like if you need it right away, where do you go to find that?
Yeah, so there's a great wig store in the valley called Wilshire Wigs. It's literally like down the street from Nigel's. And they're really helpful in there. I buy a lot of wigs from them, but you can also buy wigs from Nigel's. And honestly, like, I hate to say it, but Amazon, I've kind of scored a few times with getting like lace front wigs from them. It's kind of hit or miss when you're buying something online when you haven't seen it before. But I have a ton of wigs just from kind of doing this stuff, or like I'll work on a project and they need a wig, like they will have like a stunt guy, and they'll need a wig to match the stunt guy to the character, the lead or whatever that they're pretending to be. So I'll have to match the wig. And then after the shoot, a lot of times I just get to keep the wig, because what are they going to do with the wig? So that's where a lot of that kind of odd stuff comes from. But yeah.
How does that work before a shoot? Like, are they pretty general about the effects and makeup that they need, and then it's up to you? And they give you money to budget, and then you get to choose the brands and stuff that you want?
Yeah, so usually what happens is the way that, for the most part, that it works is I'll get a script. I'll read the script a few times. I'll do a breakdown, and a breakdown is basically, you know, I go by each scene and character, and I write out, you know, whatever scene it is, whatever page number it is, this happens. They, you know, so-and-so gets punched in the face, like he'll have a bloody nose, or she'll have a bloody nose, whatever. So that way I have a really clear diagram of everything that happens in the story, and everything that I'm going to possibly need for the shoot. And then usually I'll bring that breakdown with me to, hopefully, if I'm lucky, I'll get a few one-on-one meetings with the director, and we can talk about looks, and, you know, if they want to wig somebody, or if they need hair extensions, or if they envision this or that, or if they're open to ideas, you know, a lot of times I just come in with my own ideas, and we talk and figure it out. And then they usually give me a budget, and I kind of just try to make it work. And then I go shopping and buy what I need with the budget, and then we shoot. So everything is, you know, I usually go through very meticulously, just because I don't want to miss anything. And if there is anything that could go one way or the other, I want to go ahead and have that conversation with the director or the producer or the first AD before we even set foot on set, you know, just because if you're having to like figure something out when you're on set, it just takes so much more time. It's like, it's better to just be over prepared than go and not knowing exactly what the plan is, if that makes sense.
And what about contacts? Because I know I've had to wear cosmetic contact lenses, and they're not my favorite thing. I'll do them, of course, but you know, they can be tricky. Is that something that you've helped actors with?
So usually you get to hire what's called a lens tech, and their job is solely to just come in and help the actors get the contact lenses in their eyes safely, and get them out of their eyes safely. That's not the makeup artist's job. I know on like a lot of lower budget stuff, you can't afford a lens tech because lens techs are not cheap. But if there are any other makeup artists out there, that is not your responsibility to put contacts in talent's eyes, because God forbid something bad happens. You don't want to be held responsible. I personally, I do use some contacts on myself for like my 31 days of Halloween makeup. There's a company called Spooky Eyes that I really like. But contacts are tricky. Like, you know, if you also have talent that wears normal contacts, you have to get their prescription, you know, they have to get them fitted. It's always good to just let production know, like right off the bat, if someone does need to be wearing contact lenses, that there needs to be a lens tech that needs to be hired. Just because it's safer, you know. Eyes are precious.
Especially now with COVID, I imagine it's
yeah,
even trickier, you know.
Totally.
Are you working on anything currently?
Let's see. I just worked on a music video that was really fun. And then I had a job up in Yosemite, which was so much fun. I got to do some special effects makeup. I got to make a couple characters look like they'd been beat to hell, which was really fun. I got to learn how to do something new. We had one of the characters had to have, he basically gets killed with an axe going into the back of his head. And so me and the props gal on that, we kind of worked together to try to figure out how to make it work. And then we worked with the DP and the stunt guy to try and figure out how we were going to shoot this to make it look real. Cause you know, there's a little bit of movie magic involved with things like that. But it was cool. I got to learn how to do something new, and it was just a really fun shoot. We were up in the mountains. It was really beautiful. I didn't feel like I was at work because we were shooting on a lake and it was super picturesque, and it was just a lot of fun. So.
And where can people follow your work online?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I'm at Alexandra Bayless, AlexandraBayless. I'm on Facebook too, the same name. Don't really do Twitter. I'm more of a visual person, obviously.
I'm not a big fan of Twitter either.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured it out. I'm just kind of, you know, I like Instagram. Instagram's fun.
And I do recommend checking out your work because it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, we're almost done. We got a couple days left, and then I get a break, which is great. So.
Yeah. Well, is this going to be one of your days? What you just did?
I think we should take some pics of this. This one's pretty fun. So we'll take some pictures and post them tomorrow, and then we just got one more makeup to go, and that's it.
Very good.
I usually like
Joe says, thank you, everyone. This was great. Well, thank you, Joe, for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for doing it. It's been really fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Thanks.
I hope everybody has a great Halloween, despite being lost indoors. Yeah, watch something scary.
We'll be tuning in to see what you come up with next.
Yay! Definitely. Thanks, Trista. Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
You as well, Neal. Have a happy Halloween, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.